live near a patch of woods, not far from a few camping sites. There's an old basketball court close by, stone floor, two rusty hoops that barely stay up. It's pretty busted, but it's still our go-to spot when my friends and I want to hang out. It was a warm day last summer. We headed out to play some basketball, mess around, and just chill. Everything was normal at first, just us fucking around. Then we heard barking. It wasn't loud at first, but it felt off, like the pitch kept changing. Sometimes it sounded close, sometimes super far away, almost like it was moving around fast. My friend shrugged it off, some dog from one of the campsites nearby. I didn't say much, didn't want to seem weird for being creeped out by a dog. We kept playing. About 10 minutes later, I missed a shot pretty bad and the ball bounced off deep into the woods. Of course, they made me go grab it since I was the one who messed up. As I walked toward it, something felt off. I couldn't explain why, just had that tight feeling in my gut, like I shouldn't be there. The barking kicked in again, this time louder, like it was really close. Still, I didn't want to make a big deal, so I kept going. I bent down to pick up the ball, and that's when it hit me, this sharp pain in my palm out of nowhere, almost like my body was screaming at me to get out. I grabbed the ball and ran back, hand throbbing like crazy. I told my friends I was done for the day, that my hand hurt too much to play. They asked what happened, but I just said I didn't know. They kept playing, and I sat off to the side, trying to chill out, hoping the pain would go away. After a while, the barking stopped. Things went quiet. Then I realized I had to pee, like really bad. Asked if they wanted to go home yet, but they said no, they were still having fun, so I walked behind the court deeper into the woods where they couldn't see me and relieved myself. That's when things got creepy again. I felt like someone was watching me. Not just nearby, right there, like behind a tree or something. It was quiet, too quiet. Then as I started walking back, the barking started again. This time it was loud, and it honestly felt like it was right behind me. My hand started hurting again, even worse than before. I ran back and told my friends I had to leave, made up some excuse about needing to help my mom. As soon as I got farther from the woods, everything started to feel normal again. Pain faded, barking stopped. I never really talked about it. Figured no one would believe me or they'd just laugh it off. But something happened that day and it still messes with me a little. I don't know what it was. My best guess is a skinwalker. I was a registered tow truck operator for about 2 years. It was a great job, pay was good, lots of overtime and on-call shifts. I got into the career because of shows I watched as a kid like Highway Through Hell. So when I got the chance to go into the field, I jumped on it. The first month was good. I learned a lot of experience and new skills. Part of our job as RTTO was emergency call with police and fire for crash scenes and impounds. So we saw a lot of tragic stuff. DUI fatality, hit and runs, non-DUI fatalities, ECT. The job can be very emotionally and mentally draining and can mess you up if you're not careful. However, there's another kinds of aspect to the job. Not a lot of drivers talk about the paranormal, odd, or off-call stuff that unsettles you. Almost every tow truck driver has experienced it. It was a snowy, cold November night in 2023. We didn't get a lot of calls that day, so I was just chilling at the shop for my on-call shift. Then all of a sudden, I get a WSP Washington State Patrol call for a broken-down WSP car off this dirt road. I didn't think much of it at the time. It wasn't too wired for me, since I have gotten a few calls like it before, so I hop in my flatbed and drive up to the call's location. The directions took me a good 30-ish minutes outside of the city to the mountains on I-90. By the time I get off the freeway, it was super foggy and very hard to see, so I took it slow and easy to be safe. I keep driving up the now dirt mountain road, and I keep thinking to myself that this is a really odd road for a WSP to be on, since they usually stay on the interstates and state highways. But I just shrug it off, since he could have just been out there helping a sheriff or something more normal. I finally get to the location and just stop the truck and just sit there for a minute. What the hell, I think to myself. The WSP car was parked out on this mountain road with all its doors open and no lights on, with no officers in sight. It was so foggy I really could only see the car, but it was clear to me that no one was in sight. I very heavily contemplated just turning around and going back, but I eventually decided to hop out and inspect the car and look for the officer. As a tow truck driver, I always carried with me, so I grabbed my AR with my sidearm holstered and got out of the truck, not knowing what the hell I was about to walk into or see. I walked up to the car very cautiously and first checked out the driver's seat. Nothing was missing. All the equipment was still in its place, CAD and everything. Then I walk around to the passenger side again, same thing, nothing is missing nor moved. Then I go to look at the trunk where they usually keep the AR and shotguns, ECT. I get to the trunk, but this time the AR and only the AR was missing. That's when I noticed that the forest was dead. Quite no wind, no nothing. I have seen a lot of messes up stuff, dead bodies. The entire family's killed in one accident, ECT, but I was completely unnerved. Something inside me was telling me to get the hell out of there. But before I did anything, I called my dispatcher just to make sure I had the right location and information, and sure enough, everything was correct. At that point, I was ready as hell to get out as fast as possible. Right before I turned the truck around, I yelled out for the cop, but nothing but dead synths came back. Something not right, I said to myself, and booked it out of there. The whole drive back, I had this sick feeling like I stumbled across something I was absolutely not supposed to see or be there. I keep thinking why the cop was all the way out there, why he left the car, or why all the doors were wide open, or if it was even a cop in the first place, more or less why only his AR was missing when thousands of dollars worth of equipment was in that car. Once I got back to the shop, I called the police dispatcher that gave us the call. Since I knew her, I was hoping she could give some answers. But no, she said the exact same thing that was said to me, that a WSP car was broken down and just needed a tow. I never told my supervisor or anyone else out of fear that they wouldn't believe me. I mean, you wouldn't if I were them. I never hear anything about a missing cop after nothing on the news, just nothing. It still creeps me out to this day thinking about it. I don't know if anyone will believe me, but I need to write this down before I start convincing myself it never happened. Years ago, I got a job teaching at a small elementary school on the outskirts of Rochester, New York. From the outside, it looked normal, just another old brick building with a broken playground, but inside it was almost empty. A handful of students, barely any staff. No one would ever explain why. On my first day, I noticed a boy staring at a locked wooden door at the end of the hallway. He whispered, he called me. He's inside. He wants me to open the door. Then he ran off. Later, a colleague snapped at me when I went near it. Don't. That door hasn't been opened in decades. That night, a storm raged outside. While I was finishing paperwork, a drenched woman appeared at the gates. She told me her name was Clara and she was looking for her husband, Michael, a man I had never seen working at the school. When I let her in, she couldn't take her eyes off that same locked door. And then she said something that made my blood run cold. Don't open it. It's not hiding treasure. It's hiding a curse. He's inside. The lights went out, the storm howled, and when I turned back, Clara was gone. But the door, it was unlocked. Against every instinct, I opened it. Inside, Clara was hanging from the ceiling. But when lightning lit the room, she wasn't hanging anymore. She was standing, pale, hollow-eyed, whispering, "This door was never meant for you. Only Michael could set me free." But he never came back. I slammed the door shut and ran. I never went back to that school. My father later told me a woman named Clara had hanged herself in that very room decades ago, waiting for her husband, a staff member who disappeared. And locals say her spirit still waits, calling to anyone foolish enough to listen. Sometimes late at night, I swear I can still hear her whisper, "I've been waiting."